You see these beautiful pieces of art? They're minimalistic, simple, efficient, fast, clearly, and most importantly, for me, to practice. Because I need to get on drawing my comic again. I am so sorry that it's been months since episode 1. The goal here is basically for me to learn this technique to draw backgrounds faster, and I can use this for my comic. And since I want to care about, the environments that my characters are in, I want the story to be like this, where the characters happen to live in the world, not that the world happens to accompany the characters. Not that there's anything wrong with that being the case, but I think that you would be telling two very different types of stories. And I want to tell the story about a world that happens to have characters in it. Kind of how One Piece is. I hope that made sense. But that's the goal. Hence, me trying to achieve this style. And you know what? Just as a guideline, if I can do something like this within 20 minutes, I'm happy. That's good time for a panel. This is mainly just a river. The scene, real quick, just to describe it. It's a river. The characters cross the river into the forest, where then the next piece will be. I don't think the river communicates its water so well. I did try my best, and the goal here, after all, is to be fast, for it is a comic. And there will be many instances of painting the same environments over and over again, so I'm not too obsessed with making sure that each particular panel is perfect. My main goal is to iterate so that I get the 80% done faster and more precise, painting the environment panels way faster, and in general, the general quality improves. That's more important to me than the specific panel being particularly good. Where that's not the case, and where I do care that the particular panel is good, is when I do character sakuga.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be honest. After adding the volumetric light, I think I'm done with this panel. And obviously it's not perfect, but for how fast I did this background, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty realistic to me. And obviously when you read the comic, it's the vast majority of people read it on the phone. So it'll be this size, and even if you read it on PC, it'll be this size IRL. Happy with that. Anyway, now let's iterate, make more examples so that I practice the style a little more.
Now, for the first one, I knew this was going to end up having characters on top of the background. I was unsure of whether I was going to do that with line art, but in the end, I just decided to do it with the same style. But we did open with making the base colors, and as you can see here, as I was doing my local shadow volumes and my local light volumes, as in local shadow and local light values, I started realizing that the scene was a little too light, so I just darkened it overall. I then made the fire, added some bloom effects, because I did realize that even in his minimalistic style, as much as it looks like he's just doing simple shapes, he also does do gradients every once in a while with layer blend modes. Makes sense. It's the easiest way to achieve shine, bloom, or lens flares, whatever you need to achieve with light. Then I also added the characters on top, try to paint them with the same style. I did not have too many lines on them, though every once in a while ambient occlusion makes it look like there's a line. Anyway, that's the second one.
Right now, overall, for having taken me 45 minutes, where a lot of the time I was actually being idle, and this one, 57 minutes. But, I also drew characters in this because the panel had characters in the shot. Then I'm actually quite satisfied with the time. I'm making decent time. Now I'm gonna do a free one that isn't necessarily of my comic, just so I can also practice similar subject matter. Because just style, you don't really see that I'm studying the art style, even though that's actually what I'm going for. So rather now, I'll just do a frozen lake scene.
Yun Ling. This guy is absolutely goated at his minimalistic style. By all means, as I keep practicing this and implementing it for my comic, which then kind of ends up being like a perpetual art study, I hope to eventually be able to paint backgrounds like this guy does and be able to communicate with simple shapes, complicated scenery. First of all, it just looks extremely aesthetic, and it is super useful to have techniques for shorthand when painting a comic. Because when you paint or draw a comic, you need to draw so much anyway that you might as well practice doing it faster. And yeah, these are my attempts. These are my takes. You can still clearly see the differences between my attempts and his. He is a lot more deliberate with his shape language. I feel like I was more jittery with the lasso tool, and I think I was just applying the technique and not really having the fundamental knowledge that he has, which is why his shape language is better than mine. But I'm still satisfied. I will by all means continue practicing this and implementing it for my comic. If you have never tried drawing fast, by all means try this. You'll be surprised at what you can actually create in very little time. So by all means, as much as this is a good exercise, I also think I will just straight up implement this for my comic moving forward, just in general for drawing. I hope this little challenge video was fun for you and entertaining. And if you have any other challenges for me to do, like TikTok art challenges or draw this in your style challenges or art contests that I don't know about that maybe you know about, let me know because I will do every single idea you give me. I am a small art YouTuber after all. See you in the next one. Bye bye.